Hello, welcome to the third session of course Power Electronics. We are starting with the module 2. This is the third session for the module 2 of course Power Electronics. In our previous session, we have discussed about the turn on methods and the turn off methods, where we have given brief about the turn off methods in the previous class. In today's class, we are going to start with the in detail about the turn off methods of a thyristor. If you consider turn off methods, the turn off methods are be two types which are already studied in your previous session. The first one will be the natural commutation and the second one will be the forced commutation. And we know that what is commutation? The commutation is nothing but you are making your thyristor to be turn on from the turn on mode. That will be called as an commutation, where this commutation can be of two different types. The first one will be the natural commutation and the second one will be the forced commutation. If you consider the natural commutation, where this in terms of a natural commutation, your thyristors will be automatically turn off. It will move from the on state to off state within itself, that is naturally, where we are not forcing your thyristors to move from on state to off state here. But when you consider your forced commutation, in the commutation it will be saying that is forced, that is you are forcing your thyristor to change its states from a on state to off state. That will be called as a forced commutation, where this forced commutation can be classified into different groups. Normally, if you consider the classification, you will be having 6 different groups of a forced commutation. The first one will be called as an class A. The class A commutation, in this case also you will be going with respect to resistance, capacitance and inductance. You will be varying the values of this RLC circuit. Based on this RLC circuit, you can go with a series or a parallel circuit. So you can achieve the class A commutation here. And the second one will be the class B commutation. In this case also you will be going with respect to RLC circuit. And the third one will be the class C commutation, where this will also can be achieved with respect to RLC circuit, and the fourth one will be the class D commutation. This will be also achieved with respect to RLC circuit, and the fifth one will be the class E commutation, and the sixth one will be the class F commutation. So these are all the 6 groups of a forced commutation. We are talking about the forced commutation, where this is not the come under the natural commutation. With respect to your syllabus for this power electronics course, with respect to your syllabus, you will be having only 2 types of forced commutation. The first one will be the class A commutation and the second one will be the class B commutation, where you are not discussing about the class C, class D, class E and a class F commutation. So let's discuss in detail with respect to design consideration and all by considering one of the RLC circuit for your class A and class B commutation. I will go first with respect to class A commutation. Where if you consider the class A commutation, this class A commutation can also be called as an resonant commutation. So this resonant commutation can be achieved with respect to by use of a 2 design consideration. The first one will be I will take one circuit where this circuit will be having a power supply, and I will consider this power supply where the polarity will be plus and a minus, where whatever the supply we are applying, that will be a DC power supply. We have to apply a input supply as a DC power supply, where across this particular circuit I will be having a thyristor. I will take one thyristor, let it be a SCR thyristor. I will consider it as an SCR thyristor, where for this SCR thyristor I am applying a gate drive that will be considered as an IG. This will be my gate drive circuit here. So based on this circuit, I will be having a, that is RLC circuit. I will be considered as an RLC circuit. So for the first one I will be consider load across the parallel capacitance. See, the first circuit for my class A commutation is load across the parallel capacitance. If you consider the load across the parallel capacitance, that means the load is nothing but a resistance that can be considered as an RL load or a resistance load. This should be put across the capacitance. That is, your capacitance should be parallel with respect to RL circuit here. So if you consider this case, I will consider here as this will be my inductance. So for this inductance, I will be directly connecting a capacitance. So if you consider a capacitance, this as a capacitance, I will be writing a resistance that will be a load resistance across this load resistance. That is, your load resistance should be parallel to capacitance. So this will be satisfied with respect to my term, that is your load across the parallel to capacitance. So the first consider has been achieved. I will take this as a first figure. This will be my first circuit. Similarly, I can write the another circuit where in this case also I will be considering an voltage. That voltage should be plus and minus, where I am applying input voltage. That input voltage should also be a DC supply. Here the input voltage will be also a DC supply, but in this case what happens here? In this case, I will be considering a thyristors, that will be SCR for the same circuit, and I will be applying a gate current here, where in this case if you consider the second one, the load across it should be load across the series of capacitance. See, in this case, the RL should be series with respect to capacitance. For this circuit, I will go with respect to this condition by saying the first will be the inductance, and after the inductance, I will be going with respect to capacitance, where for this capacitance, your load resistance should be seriously connected. So, I will consider as an RL, and this will be my capacitance, and this will be my inductance. These are all the two circuits for my class A commutation. If you consider the waveform, how it will be working. See, I will consider a waveform. First, I will consider the first case. See, when I am consider the first case here, I should apply some gate current. That is, I will consider it as an gate current. So I will consider Ig. In initial state, I will be applying some gate current. So this will be the gate current, and for the next session, I will be not applying a gate current, where the gate current will be applied for only positive terminal, that is initiation of your circuit. That will be, the first will be the half of the sinusoidal signal, and another will be the another half of the sinusoidal signal. So you are applying the gate drive with respect to only initial, that is 0 degree of the first phase, and you are applying the 0 degree of the second phase. This will be the one phase, and this will be the second phase of your circuit. So similarly, when you are applying a gate drive across this, I will measure the voltage across the capacitor. If you consider the voltage across the capacitor, what happens here? When you are applying a gate drive, your initial voltage will start increasing. When the voltage starts increasing, it will be gradually increases, and when it will reaches the minimum means when the gate drive will be 0. So this will be my capacitor voltage with respect to the circuit, and again for this condition I will go with respect to this like this, and again I will go with respect to current across the SCR. See, across this particular thyristor circuit, I am measuring the current. So if you measure the current across this circuit, I will get only current with respect to positive of cycle of your SCR. That is, when you are applying a gate drive, for that particular phase only you will be getting a current, where for this negative cycle you are not getting a current across your thyristor. Similarly, if you consider the second one, this will be the condition, and if you consider the second one, that is voltage across the SCR. If you consider the voltage across the SCR, I will measure this as a voltage, that is initially it will be maximum. After this condition it will be minimum, and if you consider the negative voltage, you are forcing your, in the negative voltage, in the negative signal, you are forcing your circuit to turn off here. So this will be the considered as an turn off. So for this period your circuit will be off. So this will be the off condition for your circuit, and this will be the consideration voltage and current across the class A commutation. So similarly, if you consider another, that is, if you are measuring a current, see, I will assume this is a current, that is I of t. In the first session, if I consider this particular session, see, this will be my current across the series circuit. This waveform will be read for the series circuit. With respect to this circuit, I will get the current across the SCR. Similarly, if you consider, I am measuring all the value with respect to time here. So if you similarly, if you consider for the current across parallel circuit. See, if you consider the current across the parallel circuit, what happens here? I will get the current as this condition. So this will be my current across the parallel circuit, and this will be my current across the series circuit. So these are all the two different types of circuit I will be explaining with respect to class A commutation. So if you consider design consideration with respect to waveform, the design consideration can be defined with respect to taking this circuit. I will consider the figure 1 first for the design consideration of the class A commutation. First, I will consider the load across the parallel capacitance. This will be my first circuit, and I will consider it as a figure A. I will mention it as a figure A, and this will be my figure B. So if you consider the figure A, in these conditions, I can read for the circuit equation, from this circuit equation, I can read this as VDC will be equal to, that is, VDC will be equal to, here I will be having a inductance, that will be L into di by dt plus, I will consider it as an voltage, that capacitance voltage, I will consider it as an voltage. This will be equation 1 here. And similarly, I can write that is I will be equal to, if you consider the current across this particular conditions, that is I will be equal to, if you consider this condition, I can write that is C into dV by dt plus V by R. This will be my second equation. These are the two equations with respect to this condition. By applying the Laplace transform, for the above equation, I can write that is VDC of S will be equal to, if you consider this, that is VDC of S will be equal to, that is not equal to, minus, I will be having a two different with respect to the first one. I will be taking this voltage to this side, so it will become negative. So V of S minus, that is VDC of S minus V of S will be equal to, that will be inductance value. I can write this as S into L into I of S. So I will take this as an equation 3 here. If you consider this equation 3, this will be my equation 1, and this will be my equation 2, and this will be my equation 3 here. Similarly, the next one, if you consider the current, that is, we have written the voltage across the, that is DC supply voltage across this particular circuit for the parallel capacitance. Similarly, I will be getting, that is IDC of S will be equal to V of S divided by R plus S into C. If you consider this, S into C into V of S. I will consider this as an equation 4. This will be my equation 1, 2, 3 and 4. So by considering the above equation from equation 3, so before that I will be writing another voltage, that is from the above voltage I am getting VDC of S will be equal to VDC divided by S. This will be the equation 5. So from equation 3, 4 and 5 we get, that is I of S will be equal to VDC of R into S into minus S into L into I of S divided by R plus SC into VDC divided by S minus SL into I of S. I will consider this as another equation. If I am solving this equation, I can minimize this equation as and write the final equation as VDC divided by RLCS will be equal to input of 1 plus RCS divided by S square plus 1 divided by RC. Here I will be writing RC, and this will be the S plus 1 divided by LC. This will be my equation 6 here. So I will be getting a current equation with respect to the class A commutation of the parallel capacitance which are connected across the load resistance. So similarly, I can minimize this condition, that is taking the inverse transform. Taking inverse, which transform we have applied here, that is Laplace transform. So I will take the inverse Laplace transform. Applying the inverse Laplace transform, I will get this I of S will be I of t. So this will be equal to VDC of R into 1 plus 1 divided by root of 1 plus epsilon square into omega n square divided by epsilon into e to the power of minus t divided by RC into of sine omega t plus psi. This will be another equation where in this condition the psi will be equal to this. Psi will be equal to 1 divided by 2R into root of L by C, and I will write this as a damping ratio. This will be my damping ratio for this epsilon. Similarly, this omega n will be equal to 1 divided by root of LC, where I will write this as an undamped. This will be my undamped natural angular frequency. Natural angular frequency. So these are my two terms which I am applying with respect to inverse that is Laplace transform. The first one will be the epsilon, that will be equal to 1 divided by 2R into root of LC, that will be called as a damping ratio, and another will be the omega suffix n, that will be 1 divided by root of LC, that will be called as an undamped natural angular frequency here. So this is with respect to current of your first circuit. Similarly, if you consider the voltage, similarly for voltage also you can write, that is V of t will be equal to VDC into omega n divided by root of 1 minus epsilon square into e to the power minus t divided by 2RC into sine omega t plus VDC. So these are all the two equation with respect, this is with respect to current and this is with respect to voltage. The equation 6 and equation 7 are representing the voltage and current for your first circuit of your class A commutation. That is, in your first circuit the load resistance is connected parallelly with respect to the capacitance. So this is the design consideration for the first circuit. Next one will be the second circuit. If you consider the load across the series capacitance, where with respect to capacitance I will be consider the load resistance across this as a series circuit. If you consider this circuit, The waveform will be similar with respect to the circuit, but the current will be changes with respect to parallel with respect to series here. So if you consider this design consideration, I will be writing a design consideration with respect to series circuit here. So if I am considering a design with respect to series, that is I will be having a VDC and the RLC will be connected in a series circuit here. So the VDC will be equal to, here I will be having a current, I will be consider it as an I into R plus L into di by dt for this particular inductance, and for the capacitance I will be writing 1 by C where integral of I of t here. So this will be my design consideration with respect to this circuit for a series RLC circuit, where corresponding homogeneous equation for this above, I will consider this as an equation 1, and corresponding homogeneous equation for the above can be written as, that is d square I divided by dt square plus R into di by dt plus 1 divided by LC into I will be equal to 0. This will be my equation 2 here. So the solution of the well known second order, this will be my second order equation with respect to underjam. So by applying a second order equation with respect to the underdamped ratios, I will get I will be equal to e to the power minus epsilon of t into a1 cos omega t plus a2 sin omega t. So I will consider this as in equation 3, where this will be my underdamped second order equation. This equation 3 will be the underdamped second order equation, where with respect to this equation C, I can write, that is, here I will be using epsilon, this will be the epsilon, where this epsilon will be R divided by 2L, and I will be using a omega, where I will consider as an omega naught, that will be 1 divided by root of LC. So similarly, I will be writing a omega naught. If you consider omega will be equal to omega naught into 1 minus epsilon square. So if I am solving this equation by applying the epsilon as a R divided by 2L, I will get this equation as root of 1 divided by LC minus R square into 4L square. This will be my omega values with respect to this second order damped equation, that is underdamped equation. So when I am considering this condition, that is here I will be having a current, the initial condition, that is when I of 0 plus will be equal to I of 0 minus, where this I of 0 plus and I of 0 minus will be equal to 0. Then what happens with respect to equation 3 means the A1 will become 0 in the first equation, and the A2 will become VDC divided by L here. This will be my equation with respect to A1 and A2. So this equation gives that is I of t will be equal to e to the power of minus R divided by 2L into t into VDC divided by omega L into sin omega t. I am applying the values with respect to A1 and A2. Here the A1 will be equal to 0, this big cost will be the 0 value. I am applying A2, that is VDC divided by L. Based on these values, I will be getting a sin omega t here. So for this, I will consider this as an equation 4. This will be my equation 4. With respect to this equation 4, if you consider this equation 4, this equation shows that thyristor current goes to 0 at omega t will be equal to pi. When the thyristor's current reaches the pi value, that is, this will be the 0, this will be the pi by 2, and this will be the pi value. If it goes to pi, this current will move to the 0 value. That means your thyristors will move to the off conditions. So at that condition, what happens? The T will be equal to pi divided by root of 1 divided by LC minus R square into 4L square. This will measure time. Now with respect to this condition, I can write di by dt will be equal to e to the power minus pi by pi into r divided by 2 omega L into VDC divided by R. This will be the another equation, where therefore VC at the end of the, that is capacitor voltage across the end of the conduction, that is VC at the end of conductions, we get VC will be equal to VDC minus VL, where in this case, that is VL is a load current, where in this case this I will write it as an equation 5, where this VL will be equal to L into di by dt. Therefore, I will get, therefore with respect to load voltage, I will be getting L into di by dt. Similarly, with respect to VC, VC will be equal to VDC into 1 plus e to the power minus pi by r into 2 omega L. This will be the capacitance voltage across this capacitance. This will, I will measuring the voltage across the capacitance here, and I will be measuring the inductance across this particular inductance values here. So I will be representing it as an VL, and this will be the VC. So I got a inductance voltage and a capacitance voltage here with respect to this series RLC circuit. Similarly, after gathering a inductance voltage and a capacitance voltage in these conditions, now if V0 is the initial current, I can write that is I of t will be equal to e to the power of, with respect to this condition, that is e to the power of minus r divided by 2L into t, minus r divided by 2L into t of VDC divided by omega L minus omega naught into sin omega t. This will be the initial condition. In this condition, for, if you consider for omega is greater than 0, if you consider this condition, I can write this 1 divided by LC should be lesser than this value, that is minus of r square divided by 4L, this should 4L square, I will be writing 1 divided by LC minus r square into 4L square, this should be lesser than the 0 value. So if I am rearranging this value, that is 1 divided by LC will be equal to, or you can also, that is should be greater than, I will be shifting this r square by L square into that term, that side, so it will become positive, so it will be 4L square. So after solving all this condition, I will get R should be equal to root of 4L divided by C. This will be the resistance value with respect to our, that is series RLC circuit here. This with respect to class A commutations.